Hello and welcome to my last video on Welsh language and history. So today I am going to go over some history of the Welsh castles and a bit about prevalence of the language. So with Welsh castles, many of you, if you've been to Wales, may think you've noticed there are lots of castles in Wales. It seems that way anyway. There are more than 600 in total, which is more than anywhere else in the world, which is quite impressive, I would say. So, but why were they built? Why were so many built? While some were built by Welsh royal dynasties, the hereditary rulers, lines of hereditary rulers, the largest and most impressive were in fact built by the Normans, so not the Welsh. And some of the most impressive castles in Wales include Chepstow, Cardiff and Cardigan castles. All of these are ancient and were built several hundred years ago. But now, how many have I been to? Let's see. So I've not been to myriad castles in Wales, but I've been to quite a few. I am relatively interested in this stuff. I've been to Raglan Castle, White Castle, Chepstow Castle, and that may be about it. But yeah, there may be a few more, but yeah. There you go, they're the ones I can think of. Oh, Skenfrith too, which is not such a well-known one, but yeah, I've been there. So several. And my favourite one I've been to in Wales is probably Chepstow, mainly due to how grand it is. It's very impressive. And as interesting as ruins such as Raglan Castle are, that I would say Chepstow is my favourite. And there begs the question, what if you go to a castle, what experience are you looking for? So I know this one isn't in Wales, but Windsor Castle is very, very grand. It's more like going through an ancient house. But then if you go to a ruin, it's an entirely different experience. So that's about going up the spiral staircase to the top of the tower, which you can't do now because most spiral staircases aren't wide enough to accommodate social distancing. Yeah, and maybe see a reenactment, which is always exciting. But there you go. So now moving on, the oldest castle in Wales, and indeed Britain, is believed to be Chepstow. However, construction began in 1067, just 1 year after the Norman invasion. But now, why are there so many castles in Wales? If someone really investigated very thoroughly, you'd probably discover umpteen reasons why there could be some, but the biggest, most important reason I think is in the hundreds of years of Welsh-English conflict, land was tussled over time after time, and this wasn't just between Welsh and English. Sometimes it was English versus English, so different parts of England defending their land in Wales. But so in short, their land often required to be defended. And now, the second section in this video, which is prevalence of the Welsh language. So as I've mentioned before, it used to be very commonly spoken, 80% of the population spoke it. So you're thinking this is the main language of the country. But a few years ago, it was believed to only be 11%. So that's a massive decline, and hence why many people thought it may die out, and we need to try and keep it going. And there's even a question out now: is too much money being spent on retaining the Welsh language? But in terms of prevalence throughout the country today, it varies massively. So it's not just 11% throughout the country speak the language. In parts of Snowdonia National Park, as a general statement, the farther north and west you go in Wales, the higher the prevalence of the language. So in parts of Snowdonia National Park in the northeast, 4 in 5 people speak the language. This is almost what it was like throughout the country a couple of hundred years ago. But then in many parts of the south, especially the southeast, less than 1 in 5 people, or even less than 15% speak the language. So you can see it's a massive difference. And the next very interesting fact is, at one point in medieval times, it was believed that there was one castle in Wales for every 12 square miles, which doesn't seem like a very big area, and it's not. If you think about one castle for that area. And to put this into context, for the area of the entirety of Wales is 8,000 square miles. So that seems like a very big distance compared to 12. And if you did the maths, that would be slightly more castles than the 600 there are believed to be today. So that brings me to the end of the video. If you have any comments or any thoughts on other reasons why there are so many castles in Wales, feel free to let me know. But better still, join me next time for a very different video.